Now, whatever you do, let the truth stand. That's a call from the Dagomba chief to the 3-member committee investigating the Ejura disturbance that left 2 dead and others injured. Grandson of the chief, Ibrahim Mohammed, was among the 2 who died from gunshot wounds after a standoff between the protesting youth and security agencies deployed to maintain law and order. The protest was triggered by the gruesome murder of social activist Ibrahim Mohammed, also known as Kaka, late last month. The committee is investigating circumstances that led to that protest, the role of the security agencies, and the effects of their reaction. Speaking through an interpreter, linguist to the Dagomba chief, Abdul Wahab Al-Hassan, said his grandson told him he was buying food, but later got to know he had been shot during the protest. He wants the committee to allow truth to reign.
Da na fita shi na iske cikin sarakan Ejura nan na kwante ne.
Also, after I went out, I saw one of the chiefs of Ejura, that is the Kuntin of Ejura.
Shi na ce mishi ya ga abin da ya faru ko.
I told him that, have you seen what has happened?
Shi ce mini ya gani.
And he said, yes, he has also seen it.
Amma mu bidin manya mu zo gidan sarki.
But we should find some elders and come to the chief's palace.
Don shi mun je gidan sarkin nan muka gamu da sarki.
So now we went to the chief's palace and met the chief.
Can he please tell us which chief?
Wani Sarki.
Sarkin Ejura Nana Hwediye.
Well, the chief of Ejura, Nana Hwediye.
She tambaye mu me ya kawo mu nan.
So Lord, he asked of our mission.
Shi muka ce mishi abin da ya faru Ejura nan shi kawo mu nan.
And we told him that we came there because of what has happened in Ejura. Now,
gaskiya ya gwada muna shi sarki ne, shi shugaba ne.
But he told us that he is a chief or an opinion leader. Now,
ya yi fira da mu, firan da yi da mu ne ya advise mu ne.
Lord, he advised us
kaman kan mu je mu attack one police.
That we shouldn't go and attack any policeman.
Kara je a attack one soldier.
We shouldn't go and attack any military man.
Kan mu sa laws nan annun mu.
We shouldn't put the laws into our own hands.
Shi advice ne zai ba mu kenan.
That is the advice he wants to give to us.
Shi mu ma muka gode mai da ya samu na lokaci da ya zama shugaban Ejura na sarkin Ejura. Ya samu mu na lokaci ya ji abin da muka kawo mu.
Lord, we also thanked him for having listened to us.
Shi da muka bar wurin ni kam fita wurin nan kai gidan nan. An doki kanina Abdul Nasir an kai gida.
Lord, before I got to the house, my brother's body had been conveyed from the hospital to the house.
Ohementeria, our man on the ground for the probing of the Ejura killings, joins us live on Zoom. Ohemeng, we know wife and cousin of the late Kaka gave their testimonies to the committee. Let's start with his wife and the demands she made.
Thank you, Aisha. Today, the family made a U-turn. They had earlier indicated that they will not appear the committee, but today, Sahada Humu, the wife of the late Ibrahim Mohammed, also known as Kaka, appeared before the committee. She was actually supported or joined by other members of the family, the family's spokesperson and some other members who were in the auditorium to give her the moral support. And before she testified, the committee made it clear that they are not probing the criminal aspect of the death of Kaka, but this is a fact-finding committee tasked to investigate the clashes in Ejura and report same to government. So based on the committee's recommendation, the government will take action on this. So the committee chairman did indicate that the committee was not in a position to force Sahada Humu to give testimony to the committee, but even if she so wishes, then her account will be taken into consideration as she testified before the committee. And she agreed that indeed she was prepared to testify before the committee. And when she set the ball rolling, she started by telling the committee that her late husband, a fashion designer by profession, has died after attack on him. And even before then, he has one or two occasions told her how some people had threatened his life at a particular spot in Ejura that the community referred to as base. The base are places where the MPP youth in Ejura meet and discuss issues that they think of national importance and of significant importance to them and their party. So at one point, when he went to one of these bases, then some people threatened him. So she is privy to every detail about what her husband does. And anytime the husband goes out and anything happens, he comes back home to report to her what actually transpired. And when the committee probed further as to whether the husband named the people who threatened his life, she told the committee, yes, the husband did say he was at a point threatened and warned by some members of the MPP for making the party unpopular, but he couldn't tell exactly the people who were behind this. The husband did not give her names, so she was at that time, at a particular point in time, unable to give names of people that probably might have threatened the husband. And then the committee probed further as to what time the attacks and then the warning came upon the husband's life. She revealed that before the MPP's primaries in Ejura, these were the periods under which her husband was threatened. And then she gave account of how a woman in the house at one point in time on 26th of June woke up her up whilst she was asleep in her bedroom to tell her of an incident in which she is believed to have witnessed the attack on her late husband. So with the testimonies all that she gave, the committee at the end of the day, prayed that and also commended her for the courage that she gathered and then the wisdom as to how they communicated to the committee at this particular day's meeting. And then they also encouraged her to continue to be strong, and whatever she told the committee will be taken into consideration. For instance, the one that she said about her 5 children left behind by the late Ibrahim Mohammed Kaka, with the eldest being 19 years and then the youngest being 2.5 years, Aisha.
Let's look at Kaka's cousin's testimony. It appears that there are concerns over where he was when the shooting happened. I mean, what was the confusion? Yes,
Abi Wakas Umar was the last witness to appear before the committee adjourned sitting to tomorrow at 10 a.m. His testimony appeared from the onset that indeed he didn't witness the clashes or the disturbances in Ejura. But later, after he has presented his testimony before the committee, Then the committee, came up with a video which suggests that Abi Wakas Umar was around, even when at the time that the youth in Ejura had, started rioting in the community. But later, then the committee chairman and the committee members took turn to advise him, especially the chairman, hammering on the fact that they required the support of all the citizenry, the members of the public in Ejura, to help them with information on the clashes. And he particularly said the members of the committee are not magicians, conjure information, but they will rely or depend on the community members to support the committee with information, so as to make information available and then make these recommendations available to government, so government can also act. We're listening to his testimony, and then with the videos played later by the committee, there were two separate videos, one of which he was, gave an interview to JoyNews reporter Erastus Asaredonko, and then firstly, whilst he walked down on the streets of Ejura. But he did, when he first appeared before the committee, he said, one, right from the cemetery, he went to a particular mosque to pray, and from the mosque, he went home to sleep, not until 4:30 p.m., when he woke up. Even then, he put his phones on silence. So when he woke up, he probably have missed a lot of developments in Ejura. But later, when these videos were played, and he was asked to answer where he was at that point in time, and as the members of the committee took turns to give advice on how he could have supported the committee's work, at a point I saw him nodding his head, indicating that probably he was in agreement with what the committee members said. And later he tendered in 5 video recordings to the committee, one of which was the late Mohammed Ibrahim Kaka, directing traffic in the streets of Ejura. And then the first one being a video. Unfortunately, the sound was so poor, I couldn't even hear exactly what Kaka was saying. But I could see Mr. Abi Wakas Umar shedding tears and then using his handkerchief to wipe tears from his face. The committee members at that point had to console him to be strong. And then as he was trying to remember the death of his late cousin, Ibrahim Mohammed Kaka. So at the end of the day, what I pick as a journalist was that Abi Wakas Umar made his testimony so simple than what committee members thought it was, until they started playing some of the visuals and then question him along that line, which he said all the videos that were played by the committee members at that time was when the clashes had started, but he did not witness the incident where the soldiers arrived and started shooting into the crowd, to the point that he had to go back to his room and take some rest. Aisha.
Humanitarian is a member of our security desk and our man on the ground. Meanwhile, chairman of the 3-member committee, Justice George Kingsley Compson, says the committee is only interested in the truth.
Suna magana, suna dem maganganu. Lord,
they were just talking and shouting that we will not understand, we will not understand, we will not agree.
Yes, and you also said the military, later you saw the military coming and they stopped. They started firing. Did you see what happened before the military started the firing?
The Nagan Susuna Zuadi, the Suko Kusa, the Yutuna.
Lord, when I saw them coming, and when they got closer to the youth,
she Nagasuna Gudu. Su Yutuna Gudu.
The youth were running away.
Since you were present when the military arrived and started firing, can we find out from you whether you saw any member from the youth throwing stones, sticks, or whether you heard anyone fire a gun from the crowd?
Mangawani ya wulga dusiba. Mangawani kuma ya halba bindigaba.
Lord, no, my Lord, I did not see anybody throw stone, neither gun or any missile.
All right. You said that the police came to the cemetery with their water cannon vehicle. Evidence has been led here by the police that they were invited to the cemetery by the family of Kaka. Did you get to know of this?
Nde sun yi wannan ma ni ba na wurin. Kuma ma ban ji sun yi wannan ba.
Lord, if the family of Kaka invited the police, that I cannot tell.
Thank you.
Because I wasn't there.